It's Miss Neat here. So I promised you that I was going to show you the way that you could use perimeter area in the real world. And you can see here, Hayden and I started planting some seedlings a few weeks ago, and they are now ready to go into our actual garden. And now that the weather has gotten a little bit warmer, we're ready to put them outside. So today I'm going to show you guys how I have to use area to measure the weed barrier that has to go inside the planting boxes, and I'm going to show you how we use perimeter to figure out our fence around the outside. So here you go. When you say to me, Miss Neat, when am I going to use this in real life? Here's how you're going to use it. Hey guys, as you can see, we started our garden the other day. We have our gardening boxes, and we use this shed as the first side of our rectangle that we're going to find the perimeter of, because you can see we already put our fence up. But I wanted to show you guys how we went about doing this. So, hey, edge of the build, there you go. All right. So we've got 12 feet 2 inches. So if the first side was 12 feet 2 inches in a rectangle, then the opposite side that is equal must also be 12 feet 2 inches. We then measured the sides here. So I've got 10 feet going down each of those sides. I'm going to use my perimeter formula. I know that I add those 4 sides together, opposite sides being equal in a rectangle. Dandy whiteboard, and I'm going to do a quick little addition here. I've got 12 feet 2 inches. I'm going to use that measurement twice, and then I've got 10 feet and another 10 feet. And I'm going to add this up. 2 and 2 is 4, so I've got 4 inches. 2 and 2 is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my perimeter is 44 feet 4 inches. That means that I have to make sure that I have 44 feet and 4 inches of fencing available to me. If I only had 40 feet of fencing, then I would know that it wasn't going to be large enough. If I had 60 feet of fencing, I would know that I would have to, like we did, roll some up in the corner up there. That was extra, okay? But this is how you use perimeter in the real world. We want to make sure that fence goes all the way around. Now, we had the building to be part of our perimeter. We were lucky. But if we didn't, we would have had to make sure we had that additional extra amount to make that total of 44 feet 4 inches. All right, guys, so now that we've got our fence safely around the outside, it's time to put our plants inside. So a lot of you guys who've gardened before will know that weeds are an issue when you're planting gardens. Weeds steal from our plants that we want to grow. So what we do in our families, we put weed barrier down at the bottom of our planting boxes. Now if we're going to do this, we have to measure and make sure we have enough. And this is where area comes in, because that weed barrier goes inside of the box. It covers the whole inside underneath the soil we're going to lay down. We have our good fertilizing soil down here, but we want to make sure that weed barrier is underneath it. So now we're going to use our measurements of length and width and multiply to find the total area that we need to make sure we have enough weed barrier to cover. So I take my handy dandy trusty measurement tool again. I'm going to come out of frame here for a second probably to go all the way down to the end. I'm going to measure the length of this box, and it is 10 feet 3 inches, or 123 inches. I'm going to take my second measurement, which is 22 inches, and to find the area of this box, I'm going to take that 123 and I'm going to multiply it by 22. Now, double digit by triple digit. Here's where it gets tricky. For some of you, distributive property is the key here. For some of you, it's standard algorithm. For some of you, it's an area model. I'm going to go straight standard algorithm in the interest of time, but I will stop in the video later and show you guys how you can do this using an area model. So, 1's place first. 2 times 3, 6. ones place times tens place. 2 times 2 is 4. Ones place times hundreds place. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to the tens place, which means I need to put a 0 in the ones place. So now I'm going to do the same thing again. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. I'm going to add those numbers together, and I ran out of space on my whiteboard, so I'm going to come up here. 6 plus 0 is 6. 4 and 6 is 10. I'm going to put down the 0 and regroup the 1. 2 and 4 is 6 plus 1 is 7. So 2,706 square inches. Gotta label it. And it's square inches because I measured in inches and I did inches times inches, which makes it square inches. That means that I need to make sure that I have that much weed barrier for each of these boxes. Now, weed barrier is not going to come in square inches. It's going to come in feet. So I'm going to have to convert that. 12 inches in a foot. I'm going to have to do a little division. Or if I wanted to, I could not measure in inches. I could have measured in feet and rounded to the nearest whole foot, and I would have had a little extra. Never want to go short, always want to go big when you're estimating in this case, because you want to make sure you have enough. But guys, so if we take those same numbers and we use the distributive property, we're going to break them up into hundreds, tens, and ones. Multiply each of those pieces by 22. Remembering that we look for the basic fact, and then we multiply that number times 10 for each of the zeros. So you can see I underlined the zeros in red and multiplied my product by 10 each time for each of those zeros. Once I have my 3 products, I can then add them together and you'll see that I still got 2,706 square inches. Now, if I'm going to use an area model, I have to break both factors into their place values, hundreds, tens, and ones. And then I can multiply each of those pieces by each other to give me a product in each of my 6 squares. Again, I'm looking for a basic fact and paying attention to those zeros because each zero means I'm multiplying by 10. Once I have all 6 of those products, I can then add them up, and as you can see, again, I get 2,706 square inches as my final answer. Make sure you have enough. But guys, here's your real world application. I needed to know how much fence, how much weed barrier. I used perimeter and area to figure that out.